Welcome back to Nuclear News. Let's talk about the reality of what is going on in the nuclear space. Remember, most of the world's still sleeping on the implications for what all this means, but you are not. So let's talk about the weekly news and what it all means for the future. Middle East deal, huge investments in nuclear power coming. Fossil fuel rich oil and gas Middle East nations are ready to invest untold billions in massive new nuclear power fleets. And the US Saudi Israel deal is set to spark a nuclear energy boom in the region. Really doesn't get much bigger than this when you think about how scarce the fuel that's going to power these nuclear plants is and how these nuclear plants are undergoing a worldwide renaissance and growth. So just a massive boom in demand for this new energy source. Then we have Joe Biden's uranium problem, according to Newsweek. President Joe Biden may soon be facing a political headache involving uranium. And Russian President Vladimir Putin, after his decision to protect land around the Grand Canyon from mining, Biden declared almost 1 million acres of land around the Grand Canyon in Arizona a national monument, which means that no one can mine and get resources out. Now, we know how scarce above ground uranium is. And so what the federal government is doing is limiting our access to this resource. Now, all that means is that in the long term, this resource is going to get scarcer and scarcer, right? Now, here is a chart of the actual production of uranium in the United States. It's actually at a pathetically all-time low. So we're just making the supply crunch worse and worse with these policies because we know at the same time the US government is supporting the nuclear renaissance. So they're increasing demand, shrinking the supply, which is ideal for investors in the scarce resource. Sweden to clear obstacles for nuclear reactors. The climate transition requires a doubling of the electricity production in the coming 20 years. So we have global adoption, obviously, happening all over the world, including the US, Wyoming, to consider microreactors as SMR plans continue. Remember, revolutionary new technology, small modular reactors, small little safe nuclear power plants are going to be popping up everywhere, increasing the global demand. We have a state in the US investing in this technology. Trakistan 1 cleared for 10 more years. Unit 1 of the Trakistan nuclear power plant in southern France can operate for a further 10 years. The country's nuclear safety regulator has decided it becomes the first French power reactor licensed to operate beyond 40 years. They all are going to have these life extensions, right? That's the story of nuclear power. The output is just going to keep getting maximized. IP3, GEP, team for a Surrey Green Energy Center. IP3 Corporation, Green Energy Partners have formed a joint venture to establish the Surrey Green Energy Center in Surrey County, Virginia. The project includes a fleet of 4 to 6 SMRs. Remember, again, SMRs powering 20 to 30 data centers, generating hydrogen fuel, and providing backup power for Virginia's grid. Another state investing heavily in nuclear power, exact same bullish story for the growth in the demand for uranium. Hydro-Quebec mulls a reviving province's nuclear reactor 10 years after shutdown, bringing these reactors back to life. Shipbuilders exploring nuclear power for cruise ships. Could cruise passengers be sailing aboard nuclear-powered cruise ships in the future? It is one of the ideas that this large shipbuilder is exploring. And so this is where people start to sleep on the implications, right? We have new technology, we have booming demand, and the reality of the situation, it seems at this point, is that small modular reactors are going to be powering practically everything. Why? Because it only makes sense, right? It's dense, it's affordable, it's revolutionary, and it's safe. When you're a commodities investor, all that matters is supply, demand, fundamentals. Obviously, you tell me what you think is going on with this, but it seems like demand is skyrocketing. It seems like supply is nowhere near catching up. So we're just going to have to stay on top of this market.